I can interview and tell. मतलब मैं interview करता हूँ before I refer people here. I try to interview people. So it's like very easy to tell in 5 to 10 minutes. Mostly it's that only. Can you code yourself or not? And the first answer should be there are two ways to scale. One is you create a bunch of replicas. I see their projects. If they've built, mostly these people have built some ambitious project. If they have built an ambitious project that has some specific tech, जो मतलब उनको आना चाहिए या फिर उन्होंने GPD किया है, तो I tend to ask questions around that. So in 5 to 10 minutes you can tell कि ये projects उन्होंने खुद से बनाए हैं या copy किए हैं.
Who have just like 2-3 years of experience, what do you recommend how they should approach the remote jobs?
2 years is actually pretty good. The good thing about remote jobs is most of the times if they're hiring you on a skill, and they rarely care about experience. I guess they do थोड़ा बहुत, मतलब it helps if you have 1 or 2 years of experience. General advice is कि वही right now focus a lot on fundamentals. The good thing that will happen in 5 years is that no one will know a lot of things. मतलब if you look at programmers from 1990s or 2000s, they can easily do React, but they're mostly focusing their time on lower level stuff, C, C++, assembly. उनको वो चीज़ आती है कि उस टाइम पे वही होता था. Now since AI is here, a lot of people don't code. Like it's considered to be a very good, cool thing if you can code yourself without using AI, which was bare minimum 3 years ago. Hi everyone and welcome to a new pod. Today we have Yash. Yash is an old friend and now a founder. He's founded a company called Neural, which is a tech agency based out of Noida. He's hired from us aggressively and today we'll understand his journey and he has a few questions for me. So he'll ask me those questions. I also have some counter questions for him. With that, Yash.
Hello everyone, and this podcast is amazing for me, and I have a lot of questions from Hakir because I have seen him from a long time, and people have these questions asked to me, and I did not have any answer for it. So this is the first time these questions are coming along his way. So let's begin with these questions, and in between this, he will also ask me some questions.
Cool. Can we start off with your introduction from your side once? Your background and how do you start the company, everything?
Yeah. From the start, actually, I do not come from a business background. So it was like very hard for me to scale up the business, and it was very, very hard for me to do this in Delhi itself. Okay, even if I would have been in my city, it would be very easy to scale it up. But to come to Delhi, it was very hard decision for me to come to Delhi. And when I came here, I met a lot of relatives, and like they put me in a very hard situation. From there, it was very hard to come back. And then I came back like somewhere around 1 year ago. Then started to scale. Only thing that I will tell to myself was like primary factor for scaling up the company was taking the risk. So one factor that I see in scaling the company was taking the risk. Even if I had little to no money, I was playing the bets of like lakhs and crores. So I was very on top of it कि हाँ मुझे दिखता है कि भी risk से है.
Okay. And when you say risk, you mean just monetary risk. Okay, you used to throw a lot of money at hiring, I would assume, office, things like these, even when you did not have clients.
Yes.
Got it. And you started this company around 2 years ago, I would assume.
Yes, 2 years.
Started the company around 2 years ago. Took a lot of risks. I remember initially when we met, you were also contemplating office lu nalu when you told,
Yes.
and finally took the bet and that worked out. So pretty cool. Great to see, you scaling. You told a bunch of companies that you work with, and you told me your, monthly revenue is doing pretty good. You also hired with us. So phenomenal journey, and hopefully it grows more from here.
Yeah. अभी right now we are like scaling बहुत तेजी से. So मतलब काफ़ी अच्छा है. After I took the bet and I took some decisions कि यार अच्छे लोग ज़रूरी है कंपनी में. Instead of कि hiring a lot of interns, pay some good amount and get good people in your team. ठीक है. That will pay you eventually more. ठीक है. आप scale ज़्यादा करने वाले हो. So I took that bet and hired a lot of people जो बहुत अच्छे हैं. Okay. So that eventually paid me and it scaled up.
I'm open to questions.
Yeah. So starting from your childhood, like what was your best memory from your childhood?
Memory, probably J prep is the best one, I think. It's around that time कि मेरे को थोड़ा होश भी आने लगा था. उससे पहले तो I don't know what I was doing before 9th. 9th when I started J prep. A lot of grind for 4 years. Mostly grind for 2 years, 11th and 12th. And then finally getting in, I think. If I reminisce on something, is that time when I used to work really hard. I don't work as hard anymore.
So you were really used to study a lot or just...
11th, 12th a lot. 9th, 10th पे मैंने start कर दी थी prep, but I wouldn't say I did much. 11th, 12th was वही standard जो JEE prep, 12, 14 hours a day for 2 years, yeah.
उसके बाद you went to IIT.
Correct.
And you had a keen interest in cinematography.
Correct.
So what was it, and can you explain this even?
That was actually before JEE prep. So before, when my family was rich, as in when my dad was there, so we had a lot of decent money. So he bought me a camera, second camera. I felt like camera or cinematography is my calling. I think a lot of people had that back in the day when Bollywood was a thing. So सबको होता था कि Bombay जाना है whatever. So I had something similar. I wouldn't say my projects were great. I mean, डाल देना यहाँ पे. I have a few filmmaking projects from when I was in 7th, 8th. So I should do it back then. And I thought एक बार JEE हो जाएगा, अगर IIT क्रैक हो गया, then I will restart. Because after you get into IIT, most probably your first offer is sorted. And back then my aim was like 1 lakh a month, which if you get CS and IIT, most probably हो जाएगा. So I sort of rekindled that when I joined college for only 1 semester. एक semester के बाद फिर मैं CS में आ गया था. But the first semester was very heavy on cinematography and gaining back that interest from school.
वो हमें बाद में भी दिखा था चैनल पे.
हाँ, धीरे कभी आता रहता है. As time gets less and less मैं कर नहीं पाता हूँ.
So what made you quit all the jobs? इतने बड़े jobs like 4CR jobs and all those things. What made you quit that and start this 100x?
I mean, risk, as you said, like risk appetite ही होती है वो. मतलब I think from the beginning there was no reason for me to leave Goldman, which is a good day one offer from college. A lot of my batchmates, most of my batchmates are doing it. I would say probably 95% of my batchmates still do it. So risk taking appetite मेरे में नहीं है. I'm not from a business family. So I would say I ended up quitting jobs very late. Only reason I would quit a job was when I had another offer, which was paying me more, if not the same. Or if I had 2 offers and एक बहुत ज़्यादा हो गया था. If I was moonlighting in 2 places and wasn't able to handle the other one. So I wasn't really leaving jobs until I had something better in mind. Only after 5-6 years of working a lot, thankfully getting good jobs that paid well, building some assets, is when I realized that now a salary is not really making a very big dent in my net worth, and it's eating up a lot of my time. So for many reasons, talking to family, I realized, so let's take this plunge. And I will always go back to a job. Thankfully, even my day-to-day right now is a lot of tech. Even though I code less now, and primarily my role has become finding companies and placements. But I'm still taking classes, YouTube पे कहीं ना कहीं, I still stay in touch. Which is why if I ever want to go back to a job, I think I can for the next 3-4 years. अगले 3-4 साल में ऐसा होगा I become very rusted maybe. But अभी thankfully I'm still involved. So if I ever want to go back, I can. So that door can always open if I want to. That was a very easy plunge, honestly.
Which is a very good thing actually. I would say the moment you decided to build this 100x tool was the moment you became successful in my sense actually. Because dare to take the leap of faith is the biggest dare. So
Right.
For me, result is for dopamine.
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree. I mean, if you look at it from outsider perspective or even monetarily, the school has been a very, very, very good bet. We've only lost money over here, but I think long-term bet may hopefully it works out.
So, what advice you want to give to the younger ones who are just getting started in the tech?
In coding.
Yes. In
ये तो मतलब I have a lot of advices because I do this now. जो लोग स्कूल में आते हैं और early people, general advices के वही right now focus a lot on fundamentals. The good thing that will happen in 5 years is that no one will know a lot of things. मतलब if you look at programmers from 1990s or 2000s, they can easily do React, but they're mostly focusing their time on lower level stuff, C, C++, assembly. उनको वो चीज़ आती है कि उस टाइम पे वही होता था. Now since AI is here, a lot of people don't code. Like it's considered to be a very good, cool thing if you can code yourself without using AI, which was bare minimum 3 years ago. So the next set of people that are coming have access to this superpower, which is AI. The downside is that they're not coding themselves. So I think the primary focus here at school, examinations, the way they're held, is or the way I find someone for a placement is, can they code without AI? It can be a very controversial take and very bad bet. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe सब लोग AI से code करने कल को. But I feel you can find, if someone is genuinely interested, curious about tech, if they can actually code themselves. So mostly focus fundamentals पे for people who are early in tech. In 2 years, 3 years, AI is there. It can always help you. But if you know the fundamentals well, then at some point, जब आप stuck हो गए, then you'll be able to fix things faster. Your interview in a company will most probably ask you, to not use AI and give you a very tough task that's even with an open book not solvable. So you have to build that muscle of coding without AI. That's the only big advice that I give to people right now.
Even in our company also, we take third round, assessment round. In that we switch off all the labs.
Right.
We give them assessment to build something. So you are pretty much right ki this is a very good way to figure out ki if the person is able to code or not.
Exactly.
Okay, so one thing which is this is a question which is very close to me also, and I always wanted to ask is, in your life particularly, your mom has a very big role for your success. So can you tell us about what was the struggles that you faced in your early life and how your mom's advice made you what you are?
Yeah, I think it's very it's not even generic advice. It's very ऐसे लगता है कि ये तो बहुत क्या एडवाइस है, बट अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम्स आई हैव सीन कि व्हाटएवर मॉम हैज सेड हैज वर्कड आउट वेल. इनिशियली इट वाज जस्ट इट वाज वेरी ऑब्वियस कि मॉम टोल्ड मी टू जस्ट फोकस ऑन वन थिंग व्हिच इज टू मेक मनी एंड नथिंग एल्स. कि हाउस होल्ड आई टू ट्राई टू कंट्रीब्यूट. कि कोविड आ गया तो मैं बर्तन कर रहा हूँ. Yeah, lot very small things I could tell. Her primary thing was you only need to focus on one thing, and that also ended up working out well, because once you have money, you can pay for a lot of things that I was contributing to the household. So it was very obvious after 9th, 10th, I should just focus on that. I need to quickly as possible start to provide financially to the family, rather than or which is not expected from me even till date. I think I'm only expect, and the thing I'm good at is to probably support the family financially. So that goal was made very clear to me. That helped a lot in me figuring out priorities. From 10th to 12th, I should only focus on one thing, even if there are 10 different things happening, family, a lot of things are happening, mama and Didi will take care of those, and I'll just take care of, focusing on JEE. That continued later also, in a lot of other decisions. Sometimes, because generally parents can be a little risk averse, so one thing where it might have fallen through was I was not allowed to make some bold decisions early, but I think it still ended up working out well. I took small, slow bets. I took risks very conservatively. I don't think that was a bad thing also. In hindsight, maybe I would have taken a very big risk and would it have been great. So still till date, whenever I go back home, I do 30-minute, 1-hour sessions, and I totally understand what the concept of counseling means. Because for me, a counselor or a therapist hasn't worked. What has worked is talking to my mother. Very good advice. I don't know how she knows these things, but she knows these things. कि उन्होंने तो बिजनेस नहीं बनाया है, उनको 10 चीज़ें पता हैं जो बहुत अच्छे से अप्लाई होती हैं बिजनेस में. तो इट इज़ दैट, अदर दैन द फैक्ट कि हाँ चलो आई नो आई हैव टू there's a lot of internal motivation that you get if you have to support your family, but other than that also the advice that she gives, कभी घर आओगे तो you should talk to her. I've thought of recording one of these sessions once, and it's not a planned session कि मैं घर गया हूँ, so randomly she start talking about something, and then there's some lesson in that what she's saying. There's like I don't know how she gets it, but she gets it. She could be a good counselor in the long run, I think. Yeah.
बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट रोल रहा है आपके लिए.
हाँ, I think what I am is
same with, what you are is because of
mother.
So same with me. My father used to tell me कि all the things in the money, all the things in the world is money. ठीक है, earn a lot of money, you will be able to get things what you want,
right,
eventually. So I used to tell him कि I want to do this, I want to do that. Okay, so he used to tell me कि do whatever you want to do, but just end goal should be कि you should be financially stable.
Right.
तो he told me that, and पहले तो ऐसा लगता था कि यार कितना ही पैसा चाहिए होता है. अगर आपको स्टेबल जीवन जीना है तो कितना ही पैसा चाहिए होता है. बट आई वॉज रॉन्ग एट दैट टाइम. बहुत छोटा था. आई वॉज अर्निंग लिटिल टू लेस मनी एट दैट टाइम. So a lot of people don't know on this like camera. I'm just like 21 year old right now. And I was doing coding since I was in class 6, so I was having some good money when I was in 8, 9. तो उतना ही बहुत लगता था. बट व्हेन आई स्केल्ड अप आई थॉट, मतलब मुझे वो एडवाइस बहुत लगी. एंड स्टिल मैं जब भी घर जाता हूँ, जैसा आपने बोला कि काउंसलिंग सेशन, वैसा ही मेरे लिए होता है पापा से बात करना. एंड लॉट ऑफ पीपल गेट अमेज्ड कि यार मैं कैसे 1-1 घंटे फ़ोन पे बात कर लेता हूँ पापा से, बिकॉज लॉट ऑफ पीपल डोंट हैव दिस बॉन्ड विद देयर फादर. तो मेरी 1-1 घंटे बात चलती है पापा से कि क्या करना है, कैसे करना है, ऑल दिस थिंग्स. एंड वो पुश भी करते हैं सेम लाइक योर मदर. सो आई कैन फील कि हाँ, लॉट ऑफ मोटिवेशन हैज़ कम फ्रॉम हर.
राइट.
Remote jobs for the tech people who have just like 2-3 years of experience. What do you recommend how they should approach the remote jobs?
2-3 years is actually pretty good. The good thing about remote jobs is most of the times if they're hiring you on a skill, and they rarely care about experience. I guess they do थोड़ा बहुत, मतलब it helps if you have 1 or 2 years of experience. उसके ऊपर it has detrimental effects कि 2 साल का हो या 5 साल का, doesn't really matter. So I mean, for us, we tend to place people almost freshers level पे, and probably 50-60% of the placements are remote from a company based out of the US, not in India. It's actually not that difficult. It's actually harder to deal with Indian companies because of a lot of things. मतलब founders know कि India में क्या packages होते हैं. A lot of times founders squeeze the employee in terms of the final pay package. अभी मैं एक founder से बात कर रहा था, तो we're stuck in के 8 LP और 9 LP में हम लोग एकदम negotiations में अटके हुए हैं कि he's okay with 8, the candidate is okay with 9. Versus in a remote job, these challenges usually don't exist. $1,000 extra a year doesn't really matter to them. So that's the good thing. The bad thing is the number of opportunities are very limited. You need to be really good for a remote job versus at an entry level, if you know you're not good, then probably makes sense to focus on a startup in India, an on-site job, big tech, whatever in India. But if you feel like आपको एक skill बहुत अच्छे से आती है then it is a fairly easy route to look for a remote job.
So a lot of people ask me कि कैसे remote jobs के लिए जाएं and all these things. I think you are the best person to answer कि कब एक person या कब एक tech people जो भी है he is good for remote.
Yeah, I mean, I can interview and tell. मतलब मैं interview करता हूँ before I refer people here. I try to interview people. So it's like very easy to tell in 5 to 10 minutes. Mostly it's that only. Can you code yourself or not? I see their projects. If they've built, mostly these people have built some ambitious project. If they have built an ambitious project that has some specific tech जो मतलब उनको आना चाहिए या फिर उन्होंने GPD किया है, तो I tend to ask questions around that. So in 5 to 10 minutes you can tell कि ये projects उन्होंने खुद से बनाए हैं या copy किए हैं. If they've made the project themselves, if you can see them code normally, and if they're good in a specific stack, whatever their calling is, which could be full stack, mobile, then it's a decent sign कि हाँ, it's easy to refer. And again, the expectations aren't crazy for a remote job. It's just कि bare minimum ही है. But the thing is 90-95% of the engineering crowd is not doing bare minimum. मतलब by which I mean कि मतलब जो value provide करने वाली चीज़ है कि तुम एक कंपनी में जाके पहले दिन पे contribution कर पाओ, जो फाउंडर को प्रॉब्लम है उसको समझ पाओ एंड फिक्स कर पाओ, मोस्ट लोग वो नहीं कर पाते क्योंकि मोस्ट लोग DSA में अटके रहते हैं या फिर कॉलेज में चीज़ सिखाई नहीं जाती, whatever the reason is. तो वही है. It's thankfully very easy to tell. Interview में if I take 10 interviews, probably 1 or 2 will go well, and in 5 minutes I can tell कि हाँ if they're good or not.
मतलब I don't think कि most of the people 90-95% people understand कि what a good coder is or how to be a good coder.
Agreed.
Because they are just focusing on writing the statements and the problem solving is very very bad.
Agreed.
Okay, so they are solving problems बहुत ही बेकार तरीके से and बस statements लिखना आना चाहिए and they are expecting कि will be hired by some US company on the remote basis. ऐसा मेरे साथ भी हुआ है. Some of the people were telling me कि the salary that you are paying is less and increase my salary or I will get a job in this US remote. After 2 years they were asking me कि भाई refer दे दो. So this happened कि यार they have a lot of expectations from themselves instead of building their skills.
Yeah.
They're just expecting a lot.
I struggle with this every day. यहाँ पे स्टूडेंट्स हैं, I have to clearly tell them कि you are not yet meant for this. अभी जो जॉब मिल रही है, even if it's 10 LPA ले लो, don't keep expectations of $2,500 a month starting में remote US. तो I don't know if I am to blame for this, but people feel like a बहुत easy remote job, सबकी लग जाती है, but that's not true. And you should not shy away from a first on-site job for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. Once you build the skill, feel free to negotiate in your current company or you'll find a remote job.
Same happened जब open source का एक बहुत wave आया था.
Correct.
By you. तो all the people were just motivated to just मुझे तो open source करना है. And they were just contributing in MD docs. So
Yeah. Even people who do contribute to open source, इंडिया से कितने लोग होंगे जिन्होंने purely open source contribution के बेस पे जॉब लगाई. I don't think that's like a very big number. तो you shouldn't really optimize for low probability. You should optimize for जो commonly कि अगर हाँ on-site job इंडिया में ढूंढनी आसान है तो उस पर focus करो. All these are step 2. I also did all of this after my 3rd, 4th year of graduating. So you don't have to do this initially. And mostly early people struggle with this. People who are experienced, who have worked in a company, they know what to do and उनको skill level अपना clearly पता होता है. They negotiate salaries or apply for jobs accordingly.
Yes. Also मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि like you are Harkirat Singh and I think you are teaching or preaching someone about some coding skills or something. So they should not think यार maybe I can go for the same path or maybe I will be stable at this age or something and I should jump over some steps.
Yeah.
ठीक है. I don't think they should think like this.
Agreed.
Everyone has their own path.
बिल्कुल.
ठीक है. So even we have a developer from your 100x school. He's very stable from mind.
Yes.
Okay.
He's one of the few stable people I've found here. उसको मैं मिला था, मुझे पहले 5 मिनट में से बात करके इतना मजा आया कि वो लाइक सर मैंने तो अभी कोडिंग शुरू करी थी 6 महीने पहले, मेरे लिए तो बहुत बढ़िया, मुझे दे दो जल्दी से. वर्सेस मोस्ट पीपल हियर आर लाइक अरे 2 महीने और रुक जाता हूँ, रिमोट लग जाएगी. तो मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा उससे बात करके कि हाँ चलो हिज एक्सपेक्टेशंस आर हम्बल एंड ही नोज कि अभी मुझे इतना आता है, 6 महीने पहले कोडिंग शुरू करी है, दिस इज अ गुड जॉब, आई विल टेक इट.
Very very sorted person. Yeah. 100x is I can quite few I can say this like 100x is producing some good developers also.
Yeah.
But okay. So next question is Web3 hype and AI. So how do you see Web3, like is it coming back or Web3 is going to explode more?
God knows. Very hard to predict. It's generally the trend is up, but it goes up like this unfortunately because of how the prices go. Sorry, 1 second. भाई वो नीचे रिसेप्शन पे देना है वैसे, वो उनके लिए मंगाया जी स्टॉक वाले बच्चों के लिए खाना जो है. तो I think it'll happen everywhere. Even in AI, it'll happen. Okay, now we're seeing things plateau, as in the funding plateau or generally revenues plateau. तो hype is sort of going away. सबको समझ आ रहा है कि हाँ LLMs are a thing. There are 5 labs, 10 labs that are doing it. And इनमें से ही कोई एक winner निकलेगा. The market will distribute amongst them. 3 साल पहले तक किसी को नहीं पता था कि ऐसा लगा था कुछ तो extraordinary आ गया. OpenAI might become the only winner over here. But unfortunately, it turned out to be not a one winner market. Everyone's competing very aggressively. So now I would assume they are also plateauing on their hiring. And that happens in Web3 also. एकदम से ही prices बढ़ जाते हैं. एकदम से there's a lot of funding. There's a lot of founders. They want to hire a lot. Goes down. A lot of companies shut down. So I think the hype trough will sort of stay. The good thing about AI is a very obvious use case. Very high TAM for what they're building and the LLM and the applications that are being built on top. Web3, very hard to justify that TAM and the use cases. Even though there are very obvious ones now, at least they feel obvious to me. But they don't feel obvious to a lot of people. ChatGPT सबको समझ आता है. It will be a lot of years before Web3 हमारे parents को समझ आएगा. When that happens is when it will become as mainstream as AI.
जब तक समझ में आएगा हो सकता है पेरेंट्स बनते हैं.
Exactly. God knows. It's like a very big shift, right? It's like changing the traditional financial system, which takes a long time.
So मुझे ऐसा personally that I was talking to someone very close to me. So he said कि भाई AI is a bubble and it is going to burst something. बहुत एक आर्टिकल आया था .com बबल जैसा एक AI बबल है and after Sam Altman said कि it is a bubble. तो उसके बाद से सारे लग गए कि बबल है बस्ट होगा, मार्केट डाउन हो जाएगा, मार्केट क्रैश हो जाएगा. My thought is कि I don't think it is going to crash. ठीक है, it is going to expand and expand.
Yeah.
अभी just it was like very hard to sell the drugs, so they created some tech things. जैसे Instagram algorithm and AI to sell because अभी like right now we see OpenAI launching erotica. ठीक है. So yes.
Okay. Right.
Yes. So he is now telling कि Sam Altman is telling कि just sign up for the adult thing and you can chat to ChatGPT with like no restrictions.
Interesting. Okay.
So this is kind of drug from my perspective. This is a kind of drug.
Yeah, but not a good thing. Yeah. But they're just trying to expand the time. So
yes.
Yeah.
तो टाइम मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि नो न्यू इन्वेंशंस इज हैपनिंग इनसाइड द AI.
I agree.
है ना. सो दैट्स लाइक AGI from AI to AGI there is a lot of time.
डिबेट हाँ मतलब God knows but I would assume yes कि बहुत टाइम है. मतलब जो आना था बहुत बड़ा 10x आ गया है. इसके बाद कुछ 10x दिख नहीं रहा है अभी.
So that's why they are launching these things.
Use cases and N10 से compete कर रहे हैं. अब वो app level पे आ गए हैं. तो that basically means कि LLM level इतना useful या इतना growth नहीं है.
Like what's your perspective?
Same. I think everyone GPT generally was really good. LLMs large language models बहुत बढ़िया चीज़ थी. Unfortunately, what happened was कि उसका टाइम बहुत लिमिट हो गया. मतलब Spotify से कम ChatGPT users हैं इस टाइम पर. I think everyone knows about ChatGPT. That sort of tells कि people probably want to spend more time on entertainment, listening to music, YouTube, than on an LLM. That means their time is limited to the time of YouTube. तो मतलब there is some probability कि ChatGPT or the LLM layer, at least the chat interface, never becomes as big as YouTube. At least technically, on paper, that sounds right. So they have to get into the app layer. They have to build probably. Google निकाल दिया anti-gravity. OpenAI is probably going to release one. Once they start to reach the app layer, they're focusing on big markets, which is editor हो गया, browser हो गया, N10 हो गया, workflows हो गए. But that sort of tells कि हाँ उनका जो core use case था, they are not seeing enough growth over there, which is why they're moving here, which is a sign कि हाँ we have plateaued in terms of innovation, which would lead to plateauing in terms of investment, funding, multiples, and the kind of hiring that they do. I wouldn't call it a bubble. Like it will not burst. It will just not grow as quickly. Yeah.
मैं भी ऐसा मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि AI bubble है. It's all hype की AI bubble है. Again they are creating an hype.
Yeah.
Bubble है bust होगा something like that.
Right.
But I don't think there is an inflation in market.
Yeah.
जो मुझे लगता है कि inflation है. But it will not something कि it's not something कि जाके वो crash हो जाएगा.
Agreed.
So the people who understand the market will see कि नहीं होगा.
Right. Yep.
So मुझे ऐसा लगता है. Okay. Talking about the remote jobs again, is there any specific country which gives a lot of remote jobs?
US UK दो ही हैं. मतलब या तो UK साइड पे होगी या फिर US में होगी. ऑस्ट्रेलिया से एक दो बार हमने ट्राई किया, नहीं हुआ. US ही मोस्टली कहूँगा मैं.
Mostly US ही.
दुबई इज प्रॉब्ली अ पॉपुलर वन. हमारा वहाँ नेटवर्क नहीं है, बट आई वुड अज्यूम दुबई से भी काफ़ी कंपनीज करती हैं.
Talking about now the tech questions that we got from the people. What's the future of Rust? Asked by Ram.
Oh really?
Yes.
Future is the present only, honestly. मतलब it will always remain a niche field. It will not be as adopted as TypeScript or Python are. Most companies don't need to use it. most companies के लिए it's very hard to hire developers. It's of course a higher learning curve of a C or a Rust compared to a Python or a TypeScript. So it'll probably remain the same. Of course, there's a lot of innovation happening, people doing a lot of things. But unless someone works on the DX, the developer experience of building on Rust, I think the adoption would remain the way they are, which is for some specific use cases it makes sense. But most product companies would probably, at max, use Go. They need, very high speed concurrency. But if rarely will you find a company that will adopt Rust. It's very hard to find someone in India. Like InVideo is one that uses it because they have a very specific use case of running WebAssembly in the browser. But most other companies, Razorpay is a good example. PHP बहुत गंदा stack था, they moved to Go. They could have moved to Rust. Probably would have gotten more benefits. But they didn't because it's very hard to hire developers. It doesn't make sense. So yeah, I think it'll remain the same.
Like my opinion is pretty much similar. Go is like more kind of used in industry.
Yeah.
Than Rust.
100%. And the reason for that is, it provides you all the benefits of Rust, or most benefits of Rust, and very easy to hire developers, easier learning curve compared to Rust.
Yes. I was just for promotion. I was just making a course on Golang these days.
Oh, nice.
So
very cool.
Very advanced course on Golang.
Very cool.
We'll be launching very, very soon.
Nice.
So one more thing that I want to ask for the junior devs actually. When we hire, I think this is a more sort of question for the company owners. But yeah, like when we hire, what's the good GitHub portfolio? What's the standard GitHub?
Generally, 2 to 3 good projects are good, मेरे हिसाब से. If they have done open source, even better. But if they have done open source, just check their issues once. Good thing about open source is you can read everything. Someone who has 5, 10 open source contributions to 3 good projects is good enough. Like people feel like these projects या 100 projects बनाने पड़ेंगे. That's not true. If you have 2, 3 good projects, if you have a GSOC or if you have general open source contributions, that's a decent resume. It's very hard to find that. Like if you pick up 100 resumes, probably 1 या 2 लोग मिलेंगे जिन्होंने 2 चीजें करी होंगी. Good projects that they understand, projects that are deployed, and then a few open source contributions. That's good.
भाई हमने 500 रेज्यूमे मंगाए थे. मैंने बताया था आपको.
Right.
हमने 500 रेज्यूमे मंगाए थे, उसमें हमने 5 शॉर्ट लिस्ट किए थे.
Exactly.
This is the ratio जो अभी है.
Yeah, it's just very cluttered, this market. Everyone's doing engineering, no one's working hard. So the only problem is कि वो ढूंढना इतना मुश्किल हो जाता है उन 5 को. But it's very easy to tell. 5 मिनट में बता सकते बात करना.
Nowadays कि ऐसा है, we can just see the resume.
Yeah.
Just shortlist और decline.
Exactly.
तो बहुत है. And most thing मुझे जैसा लगता है कि interviews में after you get like pass the screening and everything, communication matters a lot.
Yes, वो भी बहुत बड़ा फैक्टर हो गया क्योंकि अब सबको पता है कि डेवलपर AI को यूज़ करके कोड तो कर ही लेगा. तो do you like working with them? Can they communicate well? Is a big factor.
So वो मतलब environment में सही से fit in हो पा रहे हैं या नहीं? Are they able to communicate their problems? वो सारी चीज़ें is a very big factor nowadays.
100%.
Okay, so for the senior developers, what should they focus on next? System architecture or what after the AI?
It depends. Generally for senior, there are 2 paths, right? You can either become a manager, you can either be an IC. So first pick which one of these matters to you. Most people become an EM. At least मैं अपने बैच में अगर हाथ डालूंगा तो probably 60-70% of the people chose the managerial route because a lot of people are not interested in coding. वो जिनको कॉलेज में बहुत obviously interest होता है, only they continue down the IC route for many reasons. And managers a lot of times is more lucrative also compared to an IC route. तो बहुत कम लोग probably 10-20% लोग रह जाते हैं जो actual में एक point के बाद कोडिंग करना चाहते हैं. फॉर देम मोस्ट probably they'll have teams. So they'll have a team of 5, probably उसके नीचे और developers होंगे. Their job is just to streamline the work, a lot of times reviewing PRs and architecting the system, talking to leadership, talking to product, compared to actually writing too much code. Versus if you really want to just write code, then there's a whole I would say deeper IC जिसको सिर्फ कोड करना है. तो वो beyond a point बहुत चीज़ें देख रहा होता है. मतलब अगर 4 टीम्स हैं, मतलब DevOps टीम है, फ्रंट एंड टीम है, बैक एंड टीम है, एक और टीम है, तो उन सब में ही इज कॉन्ट्रीब्यूटिंग एज मच एज ही कैन. रीपो लेवल मतलब पूरे ऑर्ग को चेंज करने वाले डिसीजन वो लेते हैं. लाइक स्मॉल एग्जांपल कुड बी मूविंग फ्रॉम वन स्टैक टू अनदर. कोई कंपनी वो करती नहीं है, बट मान लो यू हैव टू माइग्रेट फ्रॉम रिएक्ट टू नेक्स्ट और यू हैव टू माइग्रेट फ्रॉम पोस्टग्रेस टू मोंगो. वो जॉब उस आर्किटेक्ट को या स्टाफ इंजीनियर को दी जाएगी. सच चैलेंजेस आर वेरी कॉम्प्लेक्स. और अगर इतनी सी भी गलती होगी तो कंपनी बंद हो जाएगी. आर द चैलेंजेस दैट यू प्रॉब्ली वांट टू टेक अप इफ यू वांट टू गो डाउन an IC and become a senior engineer. Like 5-10 years after you've been in the industry, if you still want to code, then probably have to move to architectural decisions that actually move the needle. Good example could be again PHP to Golang migration for Razorpay is a good example. Again, जिसने भी की होगी, या EC2 to Kubernetes migration at a company. ऐसे टास्क अगर आपको इंटरेस्ट करते हैं, then it makes sense to go down the IC route.
बिल्कुल. मुझे ऐसा नियर अबाउट फ्यूचर में भी लगता है कि AI इसको टच कर पाएगा.
इसको नहीं कर पाएगा मेरे हिसाब से. बट ऐसी माइग्रेशंस, इतनी स्कैरी माइग्रेशन कोई कंपनी चाहेगी नहीं. मतलब एक दिन कभी क्लाउड ऊपर से नीचे होगा. क्लाउड इज नेवर समथिंग जिसका एक्सेस AI को कभी भी मिलेगा. मतलब आई डाउट 10 साल बाद 20 साल तो सिमिलरली फॉर यू ऐसी माइग्रेशन वेयर 100 थिंग्स कुड गो रॉन्ग, मतलब एक स्टाफ 10 स्टाफ इंजीनियर लगा दो तो भी बहुत चीज़ें गलत जा सकती हैं डेटा माइग्रेशन में, यू नो। वैसी चीज़ें आएगा देना इज वेरी स्कैरी। थोड़ा बहुत हेल्प ठीक है, बट इवेंचुअली तो 10 लोग बैठे हैं जब फाइनल माइग्रेशन हो रही है। फॉर एग्जाम्पल मान लो हॉटस्टार का वो इवेंट हो रहा है जब, यू नो, सब मैचेस हैपनिंग, that whole time you need a team on site to be there, you need humans, and I don't know what it is, but AI probably can't replace that.
मतलब हमने अभी रिसेंट डेज में ही एक बहुत अच्छा लाइक 95,000 यूजर्स का ऐप था, उसका हमने डाटा माइग्रेट करा था। हमें समझ में आया कि AI इज नॉट एबल टू कोप अप दिस।
You need
कभी भी नहीं, लाइक 5-10 years में तो नहीं। कमिंग डाउन टू द कंक्लूजन फेज ऑफ दिस, व्हाट इज योर लाइक रिक्वायर, व्हाट इज योर फर्स्ट, लाइक व्हाट विल यू टेल अ 18-25-year-old developer to develop one skill, if you like?
18 to 25-year-old. Okay, big range. For younger engineers, I would say, I mean, it's very easy to do coding now. Probably don't choose the easy route unless you're being challenged every day. There's no point of coding. So just make sure whatever you're doing, you're learning something new every day. For someone who's 25, upper range, decide EM versus IC route. Do you want to become a manager? Because that's fairly lucrative now, because coding is becoming easier. That would mean less hiring. That would mean lesser compensation offers. So maybe product sales is where you need to look out. So, you know, figure out at 25, do you really like coding? And then, you know, there are ways to, of course, maximize your output there. Or do you not like coding is probably the good question. If that's the case, then, you know, probably not 25, but at 27, you'd figure out if you want to go down the EM route or the other route.
Like even if I like coding, I would choose like AM round or the manager path, because that pays very well. First thing. And second thing is like I don't have to do a lot of coding. I just have to manage things, which is a very good, like very heavy skill in itself, like very humongous thing. But to manage people itself is a very like cumbersome thing itself. So talking about my product manager who is in my company, he comes from Lenskart, Shiprocket and all sorts of companies. He has like 10-15 years of experience. But previously he was like senior developer in Univest or like Unicommerce. Okay, he was senior developer there. Then he came as a like APM or something in Shiprocket. Then he became product manager, and then Lenskart. Then we hired him because of the skills of management. So for like talking about the skills, उसके पास ये सारी चीज़ें बहुत अच्छी हैं कि he takes all the data related decisions. मैं इसीलिए free रहता हूँ most of the times now कि he is taking all of those things. तो all the decisions is being managed by him. So which is a good thing, going for the manager path. So I would have personally chose the same. So my second last question to you is, what advice will you give to your younger self?
My younger self? I mean, take more risks, I think, which unfortunately wasn't possible for me. But I think India generally needs to take more risks. I think we're a very risk-averse society. But I think US isn't. Probably because we're second generation, the people who are currently going to college are very rich, because the parents are very rich, because the country is very rich. But I think that'll happen eventually. I think the next generation of people, our kids, would probably be much more risk-taking compared to us. So that's one thing I would advise myself early.
मुझे ऐसा लगता है lot of people मैं जो देखता हूँ, lot of people have good salaries, but they don't take risk, and that's the difference between a founder. As you are a founder also, you will relate to this, that this is the like most common point, कि risk factor किसके अंदर ज़्यादा है. So if the person has risk factor, उसकी salaries अगर less भी होगी, he will be taking more risk. So he will be eventually is like the ratio of him to create a company is like very good.
Agreed, 100%. Yeah.
So the last question from my side is final message for the developers who are just watching.
Developers. इस time पे तो वही है कि I've said this a few times now, but I would strongly suggest कि make sure you're learning something new every day. Because it's very easy to fool yourself into believing you know a lot when you don't. So just spend your time actually coding and, you know, making sure you've learned something new today, compared to just building things in which you don't understand much. That's, I think, a fairly generic advice that would apply for a long time now, thanks to AI.
Sir, after all this experience of 1.5 years of hiring people, मैं भी यही बोलूँगा कि भाई be humble. ठीक है, मतलब you have a lot of skills, but world doesn't move around skills. If you have people skills also, if you are talking very humbly, all the things will come along your way eventually. So all these things are required to get into a good job or get a good life actually. So yeah, this is from my side actually.
Cool. That was a lot of questions. My turn.
Any questions from your side?
I mean, I would love to know, okay, why founder journey, how did you take a lot of risks? Would be a curious question for me. Matlab, you're pretty young. You're in college. Not a lot of people start in college. So, how did you take that leap and how do you advise other people to, if they feel like they want to start up, how would they do it?
Same thing that you said actually earlier. I had a lot of jobs बहुत पहले ही earlier.
अच्छा.
So I was clear in my mind कि अगर कुछ नहीं होगा I can get back to the job आराम से.
Right.
ठीक है. So I had skills. मेरा risk is not something कि जो खोखला है. ठीक है. It's not vacant. ठीक है कि मैं ऐसे रिस्क लिए जा रहा हूँ मेरे बैकअप में कुछ नहीं है. Without backup the risk is like idiot thing. ठीक है to do. We have like I have a backup in my hand कि मेरे पास skills I can get to the job very easily.
Right.
ठीक है. Any job I can crack like between 18 I have cracked actually. That's why I'm saying this. Not just ऐसे ही. But I have cracked some jobs and I left it. So that's why I know कि हाँ इतना तो है कि I can crack the jobs. That's why I'm taking the risk at the early stage. Probably the early stage means the age factor comes here because I started very early. That's why this age factor is there.
Right.
Nothing about that. Like मुझे ऐसा नहीं है कि like I'm very genius or something. I started very early, तो इसलिए मुझे advantage है because I have the skills.
Right.
For the people who are watching, I will say कि build a skill, then take a risk. मतलब risk लो किसी चीज़ के basis पे.
बिल्कुल.
Don't take risk कि बस risk लिए जा रहे हैं. Get them मतलब पापा से पैसा लिया, मम्मी से पैसा लिया, डाल दिया business में. So there was a point when my father also said कि भाई हम पैसा नहीं दे पाएंगे.
Right.
खुद देख लो.
Right.
My father used to pay the rent only. I used to pay the office rent and everything. So my father used to pay my house rent.
Right.
Which was like 10,000-15,000 rupees per month. So he was paying that, and after some certain point of time, he said कि भाई तुम्हें खुद से देखना पड़ेगा. We are not going to help any father.
Right.
Then वहाँ पे बहुत broke down भी हुआ कि यार ये था 2-2.5 साल पहले.
Right.
When I was not stable enough in Delhi. So you should have backup.
Right.
As a skill, I'm not talking about money. As a skill or anything, you should have backup.
Agreed.
Yeah. तभी like you will get confidence in taking the risk.
Agreed. 100%.
Yeah.
Cool. I think that's it. That's all I had. Thank you so much, Yash, for coming. Thank you for all the questions. It was very nice.
It was like very fun podcast. It was very amazing podcast for me. And we have some gift also that we will give you after this. Or
sure.
Maybe like we can.
We do it on camera.
Yeah.
We have. You always bring gift.
You can unwrap it after.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. Seems like a photo.
Yeah.
Should I unwrap it after or abhi?
Your choice.
Okay, let's do it on camera. Let's see what it is. I think this is a photo.
Yes.
I have a guess.
You have a guess. I know you have pretty strong guess.
Let's see.
But this podcast was like very
Oh, so cool.
long intended for me.
Oh, so nice. It's very nice. Where did you find? Oh, it's my graduation photo. Amazing. Thank you so much. Alright, this is it.
ये marketing की वही मैं अच्छे से पैक करा.
काफी अच्छा काम किया भाई. Thank you so much. So yeah, it's good at one thing, which is making paintings. So thank you, Yash. This is very sweet. Thank you so much.
It was amazing.
Likewise.